Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Magical World of G. Michael Vasey, a podcast. And in this episode, I'm delighted to welcome a very special guest, Eva. Now, many of you who've been following my dowsing endeavors across the Czech Republic will know Eva from my videos and from my books. She is a lady that I often go dowsing with and share the adventures with. And I thought, what fun might it be to get her take on our adventures, what they mean to her, and what she gets from them. And so, in the following 40 minutes or so, that's exactly what we talk about. So, please welcome Eva. Had you heard of dowsing before we met?
No, never. I never heard about it before we met.
But you
Actually,
don't need sticks to douse, so,
it was only one experience very long time ago at the old village. There was very old man, and he had the rods made from a wood,
Mhm.
and he tried to douse water. And he showed me how to do that. I tried that, and I was able to do it. But anyway, I just thought it's possible only for the water. If you need to find a well or to make something with water, you can find it. But I was never aware about anything like earth energies or
Right.
special notes and everything. So it was
So,
thank you.
so, uh, so how do you feel about dowsing earth energies then?
Yeah, actually, when I think about it, I thought that I was quite involved by the places I visited. I think first was in 2010, which was in Kamakura, which was Zen Buddhism temple. And maybe it was the first time when I feel something like very special place.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like you feel some place which is nice, which is beautiful. You want to stay there, you want to enjoy the energy, and it was the first time. And then I visited a couple of other temples in Asia. One of them was the Lama Temple, the largest Buddhist monastery in China. I can't say the name if you would kill me. It's in the Beijing, and also some temples in Thailand in Kamakura Island. And I remember always go there. I feel like very well, and it is very similar feeling which I have on the places we visited together. So I may just judge that it was the reason why I can find energies that I was somehow become to be familiar on those significant places, and but who knows?
So, do you remember the first time we went dowsing?
Yeah, of course I do.
So, what happened?
Uh, yeah, actually, probably we should say that we met like a Tinder date first time, which is very
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
if we can if we can consider what happened then.
yeah.
But it was our second date, and first date you showed me your places you like nearby Spielberg,
Hmm.
and the second date was nearby my place where I live. And I had a couple of places which I like to stay, to sit, to meditate, or to just think about life.
Yeah.
And I show you those places, and you had your rods, your
Hmm.
metal rods, and you check it, and they crossed on the places which I like. So it was my first experience.
Hmm. Yeah, and I remember showing you on the mapping tool that, in fact, the point we'd mapped up the hill was on a straight line with the point we mapped at the bottom of the hill. Do you remember before the dog ran off? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Actually, at that time, I really didn't know what you are talking about. I was like, oh, is he serious or is he joking? Or, yeah. But later on, I realized that you really know what you're talking about, and it's something very significant going on over here.
So then, when did you really become interested in it?
I think it was immediately. It was at
Immediately.
the moment, yes, I just experienced that. And I remember that I wrote you that after that second date, that I wrote you that I feel connected somehow.
Mm.
So it catch me at the first attempt.
And then we went to, and I can never say it, Yindriku Fredet.
Yeah,
right?
you still can't.
I can't say JH. I don't know why I
Yeah.
can't say it. It's that strange R sound in the middle of the word. I can't do it. And that's when we discovered the Templar line, right? What do you remember of that?
I don't know what to say because it was very life-changing experience for me there. I remember when we came there and you drove your car and then go out the car and you found lines and night. I was it was really nearby the car,
Yeah,
and you were so happy about it, and I was like, oh, what this guy is talking about, like. But when we went to the temple, there was the atmosphere which was very strong.
in the
It was
church.
very, yeah, very strong. I was dizzy. I just feel, oh, even I just talking about it. It's a very special place for me, and I think it helps me to open my inner thinking about those energies, to accept they exist and they can involve my life.
Mm. And you don't need the sticks at all, do you?
No, no, no. Right now, I don't need it.
So
It's
explain to me how that works, or explain to people how that works for you.
it's very special feeling which I have nearby my heart. It's like I feel just happy that I like the place. It's very special feeling, some kind of tension, but in very good way. It's not harmless. It's just very good. It's difficult to say. It's very good experience. Yeah.
Let me describe. I'll be walking along. I was walking with one stick out in front of me. In fact, I dream like this as well because I'm so used to holding the stick out in front of me. And then my stick will go, and you will turn. You will often turn around just before it does and check, and then nod when my stick goes because you already felt it, and you're not using sticks. So what feeling? What is it that says, okay, I'm in an energy line?
Yeah, because it changed my feeling. It's like if you live your ordinary life, you just cook or go to the work or take care about others or anything, then probably you don't use this kind of brain which you can use during dowsing.
Mhm.
Because what I think what happened that I was able to open some part of my brain which accept something else than what you accept during your ordinary life. So at that moment when I know that we go for dowsing and we walk or the forest or at some places nearby castles or some roads, then I just open this mind to receive those energies, and it's manifested by this special feeling. But I'm sorry, I can't really explain what is it. It's just maybe the best is the story. If you remember in very beginning, always when we went somewhere and I said, yes, this is a nice place, and you
Yeah.
start to laugh and you use your stick and it was there. So just the place which you may know it, you just feel there happy or some kind of positive energy, or you just simply like it. So this is the place, and this is the way how I believe that everybody can find. It's just about the mind setup of mind.
Well, of course, I can do that sometimes with the Templar because it's very strong. So as we drive into the Templar, sometimes I'll say to you, "Oh, I feel it. I feel it. Oh, it's here." So I can do that with that line, but not necessarily with any of the others. And that's another funny thing is that I can douse in the van or the car, and you
Yeah,
can't. It's,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like why?
I think it's not only one difference. I think we both have a lot of differences between us, and this is one of them, that you probably use some other way uh, to receive this information about lines or this energy, because I feel that I need to be connected to the land, just step with my
Yeah,
feet on the land, but
yeah.
you maybe receive it from the air, or I don't know, you should say, but you are able to douse at the car, and I am really not at all. I feel just lost when we are at the car.
Now I make all these videos, and I always tell people that we parked the car, got out the car, and discovered we parked in a line. Will you verify that happens all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So I just think sometimes subconsciously, I already know, and you do too, where all these lines are. And we just don't consciously know it, we subconsciously know it. And so you park the car subconsciously where you know the line is, but the conscious mind doesn't realize until you get out and use the stick and they go, oh God, I've done it again, parked in the line.
Yeah. And do you remember how many times we just said something like, you or me, like, what about to check this place? Let's go this way. And it was there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you simply don't know why, but you are
Yeah.
somehow attracted by the place and we go
Yeah.
there and that's it.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the other thing is we discovered that we can check the polarity of the line by which of us finds it first, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I pick up the female line closer than you do, and you pick up the male polarity lines closer than I do. So if we have any doubt about using the rod to say, you know, are you male, female, etc., then we can just go to the edge of the line and both douse it at the same time and see which one of us picks it up first. And then it's the opposite. So if the female picks it up, it's the male, and if the male picks it up, it's the female, which is
Yeah.
weird how that works as well, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And just to be honest, in the beginning, I was a little bit like, not suspicious, maybe. I just think, oh, maybe we just, pretend something, or is it really
Yeah,
here? But many times we experienced, or you didn't know that I check it on that place, and you did it at the same places. You identify lines at the same places I did.
yeah,
Or you just bring me to some area and you said, okay, I found here something. What do you think about it? And I found the same like you did couple of days or weeks ago. So
yeah.
it's simply there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Who knows why, but it's there.
So you're also you have a different sort of view on these things because I guess I'm sort of more of a cold hard scientist type and busy doing all the videoing and all of the measuring and all of the hard stuff, and you're always just sitting or laying on the ground basking in the energies. And when I wrote that book, you said you were kind of disappointed because it didn't speak about some of the stuff that you experienced. Can you try to explain what the difference is between you and me when it comes to experiencing the life?
It's so many differences, but yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, for me, it's more like my inner work. It's very important for me, like for a person, because when we go somewhere, I just connect with the place. I feel like to be in meditative status and just receive energy of the place. And this is something what comes through my body and through my mind and which helps me. And you know that we started at the time of COVID and it was very hard time for every of us,
Yeah,
also for me, like for the person.
yeah,
And I'm sure that I survive everything only thanks to that energy, because always when we came to the places like that, I feel like my batteries are charged. So I'm just sorry I am not so focused on the mapping and all the facts as you are. I am very selfish in that case.
sometimes
And
I think I'm running around doing this, doing that, checking this, checking that, and you're like,
yes, I'm just charging my battery because I really need it just to survive. I'm not joking. It's just for me. I believe that I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't try this,
it's funny
if I
because
wouldn't experience
today
that.
I was watching one of the YouTube videos I watched was one by Rory Duff, Grill Found, I think it's called, and he goes through at a high level, he goes through how him and his colleagues come to the realization that where these lines cross was, you know, important to the Templars, and that they have harmony times, and you can meditate with great effect at certain times of the year, that kind of thing. And it struck me that in fact, you know, we can, I think, verify everything he says, but we can also go a little bit further because the strange symbolism at the church in JH we managed to partially decipher, right? And it looks like you said as well that you hear four frequencies or somehow sense four frequencies, and we've managed to get two of them. The other two It's a bit more difficult because the pictures that we need are up in the right high up in the window archways in the darkness, and it's very difficult to photograph and see what's actually beside the strange pictures, right? But it seems to me that not only did the Templars see these places as like the Grail, a place of real spiritual strength and the ability to visualize and meditate and really have an impact, but they also utilized the architecture and then frequencies. So, tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, about that church and when we played the frequency that we discovered. Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's very important when you are at a place like that, and especially like in Hradec Church, just to look around, because always for me, it's like when I receive enough energy from the place, I'm just looking around. I observe some signs. It can be a statue, it can be a picture, and Hradec is full of those signs. Actually, those signs, there are the pictures, like pictures which you can expect at the church, but there are some which you really don't expect. What I remember the most are the persons around the church. On the walls there is 12 apostles,
mhm,
but one of them is a woman, right?
yeah,
Which when we check that, it reminds me a little bit like quote, was it in English? Quote Mr. Leonard quote. Oh, okay, never mind. But it's not that. It's not that. What is more interesting at Indrichu Hradec are the pictures on the walls. There are two types. One of them are ornaments, and the second are very, very like demons, like creatures
grotesque.
you
Yeah.
really, but you really don't want to see at the church.
Yes.
And I was like, what's that? What's going on here? And the other thing was nobody was interested, right? There is no single book about it. I remember I asked a woman at the cash desk if they have some, even in Czech, some books they didn't have. But it's so difficult. And when we finished the first observation, and you came with idea that it's a sound, it really makes sense, because when we came back the second time and you play the sounds, the frequency which you discover is the sound which is on the walls, on the pictures, it was amazing. It was amazing. It so enhanced the energy of the place.
Yeah,
I still,
I
I
know,
still
it's
believe.
amazing. But the funny thing is that you're responsible for that discovery because back in those early days when I was still talking to you about dowsing and earth energies and stuff, you obviously did some thinking, and when I came over one night, you told me there'd been a Czech TV or something in Czech about this church, this strange church in JH, and we should watch it, and you'd kind of help translate it. And it was some guy sort of telling a story about a secret Templar's treasure that was indicated in the artwork, and that's why we decided to go, right? Because of that.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it will always happen like that. Either me, either you just have something, it's what I'm saying about the signs, right? I believe it was a sign why I
Mm.
should watch this video, why I should check Jindřichův Hradec. You, if I remember, you have been there a couple of times before,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
You
I've never
visited the
visited that
place,
church.
not
Yeah,
the church, but you know the place. So who
yeah.
knows?
Yeah, so and then I mean one of the other things that I think we've discovered and now agree is that in some instances when these type four lines come close together, we hear, and even sometimes when they cross, we hear this high-pitched buzzing noise, right? Do you want to
Yes,
describe that for us? Because
yes,
people might not
yes.
know.
It's the sound which is in the nature, because very, I think there are two types of the places you can visit. One of them are in nature, and one of them are at the churches. And at the churches, what worked in Jindřichův Hradec was to play the tone from the walls, identified on the walls. But at the nature, when you came at a place which is like a note or I can feel strong energy there. We both can hear buzzing. Originally, I thought it's a bees. There are the bees,
Mm.
like which is the sound which is very similar, but for sure it's something else. And sorry, I can't explain why it happened, but what I know is that noise is at the places which are very strong from energy point
Yeah.
of view.
And in all the places we've visited, which is your which is the one which is the one that you sensed the most powerful and sort of shook you the most from a sort of spiritual perspective? Was it JH or somewhere else?
If I would recommend to someone else, go to Jindřichův Hradec, to the church Kostel svatého Jana Křtitele in Czech, because I believe that it's the place which can affect everybody who has open mind and who can feel it there. But for me personally, I like a couple of other places which are much more maybe intimate for me. I don't know if it works even for you or somebody else. And this is the hill nearby my place, which is called Velká Baba, where I usually go when I need to receive a couple of more positive energy or wish for something or pray for something or meditate about something important. And also I like Hudčice, the place we
So
went
like
together,
Utri Kriju.
Tři křížů, which is I consider also very strong.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I was going to go there at the solstice, but the weather was so horrible, I chickened out and I went to Kratini instead.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to Utri Kriju for that reason. And that's a strange one because there's actually a great story about that particular site having an oak tree, which was said to heal people in pagan times. And then when it was Christianized, they built a small chapel by the oak tree and sort of subsumed the pagan story to Christianize it. And of course, none of that's there anymore. But those three crosses are positioned on the hillside. But we came to the conclusion that that's not the right spot, that it's a bit further up the hill, right? Because we did the dowsing work coming in from both sides and found the node a bit further up the hill, unless it moved. But I suspect they got the wrong spot. And what I also like about that place is down the hill where the outdoor Marian church is, where the two female lines cross, and it's a very feminine energy sort of place, and that is one of my favorite locations. That place.
The same. Yeah. Good.
But I also like Hosteen. I think Hosteen is also
Mhm.
very strong, and I've had some very strange experiences at Hosteen personally. So I think Hosteen is the strongest for me. It affects me more than anywhere else, Hosteen.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we've still got a lot of work to do around there. Well, I do, to fill in the gaps. Just to explain, Eva likes to do the hop and the jump and investigating the new territory. She doesn't like filling in the gaps. That's for me to do.
Because you need a map for everything. I know you're a scientist. I'm not. I'm just.
Well, there's one thing. There's one thing we got to do, which is we've got to go out to. We got to go. Well, we got to go back to JH and try to figure out the rest of the story there at some point. But we've also got to go to out to the Slovak border, because there's definitely a node on the line somewhere that I haven't found and probably need some help with, because it's quite a long way away. It takes time to get there. It takes like 4 or 5 hours to get out there, unfortunately. And one day maybe we can go right out to the German border in the other direction and show you where the line comes in, and fill it. I'd like to fill in a lot of gaps there as well. So what else? What else do you like about the dowsing stuff?
This is what you mentioned. This kind of signs we always meet everywhere.
Yeah.
We talk about it a little bit, but maybe not enough, because for me this is the story of the dowsing, that it creates some kind of story, that you go somewhere, you can see some sign, and you can just think, like you mentioned Hostin, which is very significant place too. So I remember when we went there and you show me there is a Virgin Mary with a baby,
Yeah.
but the baby has a light at the hand,
Yeah.
which is very very strange, and she's staying on the moon.
Yeah.
And the same very similar statue is in Christini,
Yeah.
Virgin Mary staying at the moon, but the baby is without the lights.
Yeah.
And if you start to think about it, uh, actually you just can feel how important it was for our uh, for people who lived before us.
Ancestors.
How, yeah, ancestors, thank you. How important was it to work with the feminine energy, because Virgin Mary, it shows the feminine energy.
Yeah.
And how important was for them. And they, even in Christian church, they believe in miracles, and they would like to share it with others, like there is some kind of energy which is above everything. And it learned me a lot about the about myself, about my inner self, because I start to think about my energy like a person, my self-confidence, about what I would like to do at the life, who I am, who should I learn about myself, and how can improve things around. We talk about a lot about the humanity and about helping people, and it's a topic for me. And I'm always trying to support people around me to achieve what they need. And sometimes I just forgot to support myself, and line helped me. Line helped me to realize that what is important is me, it's my feeling, and it's something what I can learn from the places we are visiting, from the signs. So
Well,
it's
the
important.
interesting thing is, I think there's two sides of this. But the interesting thing is that A, for both of us, it's like some kind of a journey, some kind of an adventure, something that you would read in a book or in a mystery movie or something, but doesn't never happen in real life. And yet here we are, both on this wonderful trip. Probably people think we're total nutcases wandering around, going to all these places and seeing all this stuff. But there's a story there, and it's a personal story. It's personal to you, and it's personal to me, and it has a different meaning to me, perhaps, than it does to you, at very deep levels. Although there's another story which seems to unfold, which kind of puts us in a situation where we're almost like the archetypal Slavic gods, right? And that's weird as well, right?
Maybe it's the weirdest thing, because yeah, um,
It's
it was very
impossible to
personal. That
explain.
that that temple, the temple lines was very personal journey for me in the end of day, because we started at JH when we spent a lot of time dowsing around, and around Brno, and also Telch, and maybe if you are familiar with the map, this is two sides of the line, and there is something in between. So when we started to investigate that part in between, it was very personal, because when I was very young, I got married, and actually after 15 years, I get divorced, and I experienced something what I would like to forget. I don't know if it's right. It's probably not the right thing to do, because if you spend years with somebody, you shouldn't forget about it. But I somehow deleted at my brain. I didn't think about it. And when we go together and we starting to douse the lines, we just came to the places which were important for me back in my life. Back in those 15 years, I just deleted from my mind, and then it just bring me to keep about what happened, what was my role, what if it's right thing to forget it, or very personal.
Mm.
So I never understand how you can look for the same line for very different reason. And for me, it was so personal. And I think that something similar happened to you when we went north, right?
Yeah, and in fact, even the Templar line has some personal resonance. But The one I called Denny's line was the biggest surprise to me. I've only mapped it through Brno, coming into Brno from Vyshkov, and then through Brno. But I discovered that it went through. I mean, it went through the apartment where she was conceived, the hospital room she was born in, the school she currently goes to, through a house we almost bought, and again, in a similar way, it maps a journey that for a while I just wanted to block out as well because it was like a mistake, a disaster, and you know, and yet there was this line telling me, no, 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 this is a line that's important, and the line passes not 50 meters from this apartment, by the way. So you know that's why I say it's like we're all when you get involved in mapping these lines or just working with the energies, it's I call it the weird web, as you well know, because I see the three sisters of fate spinning these fate lines, and the line can bring really personal memories and lessons to you, and also to me. And I'm English. I'm not even from the Czech Republic, right? So how is that possible? And what a bloody miracle that is! You know, it's a spiritual lesson, and it's there for both of us. But then the other strange thing is, and you refer to the statue, which of course I see as Merkosh and Baby Perun, for very good reasons, based on the fact that there was a dual religion between the aristocracy and the normal people in the Czech Republic a few hundred years ago, where the normal people were still really pagans and and the aristocracy were Christianized. So you've got dual symbology in all of these places. And how many times have we found important earth energy sites to be at the top of a hill where there's a church devoted to Mary, where a miracle took place involving Mary, where there's the stations of the cross going up the hill. I mean, there's a pattern that recurs and recurs and recurs. It's almost like a cookie cutter pattern to where these places are. But then we started to almost personalize this idea of, I'm a bit Perun-like, you're a bit Merkosh-like, and how those energies are sort of working in our own story of you and I as friends, right? There's something weird going on there as well that is very difficult to explain to anybody who's not involved,
This
but
is yes, yes,
there's
I
something
exactly
weird
know what
going
to
on
talk
there as
about,
well.
but you may probably do it, but I really can't. But it's so amazing how the story is in our
Yeah,
personal life, right?
yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we've got the other thing that makes it very intriguing and interesting is and for me, it started with that shaman guy, and we keep seeing these weird signs of shamanic activity in many places that we end up visiting. And what is all that about? And is there some guy in Brno that's been following me around for the last 5 years, or is it a coincidence, or is it something else? I mean, you've seen those, that they're real, and that we come across them quite often, right? These stone designs and twig designs and goodness knows what.
Exactly. It's like they need to keep you here in Brno or in Czech Republic. And for me, it's something really what I can't understand why I should be by my country should be introduced me by you, like an Englishman living in Brno. And actually, I mentioned in the beginning that I started to feel those energies somewhere in Asia or
Yeah.
Mexico or somewhere, but I was never aware that it's so nearby me. And you were the person who showed me those places and who in where when we go together, then it really works. I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, and sometimes if I can be a little bit personal, you can probably exclude it from this conversation later. But I still think, what is your role in my life? Because it started like a date, or we, maybe we both think that we can be an ordinary couple, but we realize we are not. It's something else. You are
Mm.
somebody else, some very important person for me, and it's not anything ordinary. But I think when you show me what I need to learn, but not you tell me what to do, we just go together, and it's always everything is stronger, everything works, everything makes sense. I don't know how you feel it, but for me it's like that.
No, I mean, I obviously you can't come with me all the time, so I do a lot more than, well, you do some stuff on your own too, but I do a lot more getting out there and mapping, and it's fun, and I still make discoveries and so on, but it lacks that spark that happens when we're together, and I'm not surprised by that. I mean, in magic, in magical work, you always have a magical partner anyway, so because the male and the female energies work together in such a way as to build power to the working that's going on. And in essence, we are engaged in some kind of magical work with the earth energies, and the fact that we're doing it together enhances the effect probably for both of us. At least that's how I'm trying to see it right now, because otherwise it's totally inexplicable, particularly the sort of Perun, Mokosh and Veles and all that stuff that sometimes we talk about and get all weirded out about because it like I'm like Perun and I know, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and it would be weird if it happened once, but it's happening for how was it long? 3 years we know each other. Is it 3 years
Yeah, and at least maybe
or
four.
4? It's 4 years
Yeah,
already.
yeah, because we had a
Yeah.
year
It's
break where
it's happening. It's happening all the time, and the story is exactly the copy of the story of Perun, Mokosh.
Mm. Yeah, it's all very strange, a lot of fun and a lot of learning. You know,
Yeah,
you've got to do the meditation stuff as well, which I guess, you know, you're a bit more oriented towards that than I am, because I still tend to be the scientist type, but I do meditate, obviously. And I am still fairly intuitive. But yeah, I'm not quite as intuitive as you are. And it reminds me, I told you this before, it reminds me of my old friend Sue Vincent and her partner Stuart and the stuff that they did in England. And I think I've read the books, I'm not sure if you have, but they had a similar sort of adventure that seemed to be accentuated by the fact they were doing it together. And so there's definitely something in this pairing idea of male and female engaging with, connecting with the spirit of the land and taking on the myths and the archetypes that are present there and somehow working it through. And there must be some kind of purpose to that. And maybe somebody watching has some ideas. I'd be interested to hear them.
yeah.
So you're also going to write your version. In fact, you've already sent me a chapter. I'm supposed to help you with it. But your version is going to be a bit different to the very matter-of-fact handbook that I threw out recently that disappointed you.
Yes. Yeah, I feel that actually I never wrote a book. I like to write. It's partially my it used to be part of my business I did, and now I sometimes I just write for myself a couple of things. But I have feeling that what happened was so strange and so important, and I am really not able to explain almost anybody what's going on, that it's important to write a book to have more space to explain everything, to
Yeah.
tell the story, to share experiences, and also especially for me it's a way how to organize my thoughts and understand more uh, what really is going on, because sometimes I really don't know. It looks there is a plan, but I don't know what's the plan. So I believe if I come back what we did, and I will think about it a little bit more in quiet place, and maybe read some old notes I did, because I have thousands of notes from that time. I will be able more understand what's going on. So
So I guess you won't be looking on Tinder anymore, correct?
nah, nah. It's dangerous.
Too dangerous, yeah, absolutely too
Oh,
dangerous.
it's other funny thing, right? If you think that what we do together, it's we just work spiritually, I would say, or we just do this kind of work, and to find somebody who is your mate on the Tinder,
Yeah, that was pretty weird. Yeah.
which was probably only one way how we can meet, because we don't have any common friends. We didn't go out to the same places.
No,
We don't work together. We have
no,
nothing to go do together some other way than just
no, we would never meet
Tinder date.
unless it was that way. Yeah. 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 And I remember you were all concerned because of this stuff I was doing and whether, in fact, it was something. I guess maybe you were a bit suspicious about magic and all that kind of stuff initially, were you?
No, actually, I wasn't suspicious because I was interested about some esoteric things and spirituality, but not practically. Because grow up in the Czech Republic and the communistic time, we didn't go to the church. Till now it's funny that I like to go to churches and I really don't know Bible, and I'm always asking what was the story with Jesus, or what was the story about Jesus with fish or whatever. I really don't know Bible.
Yeah.
So my spirituality is really very coming from my inner self. There was nothing which would guide me.
I was just thinking that, were you worried about my magical interest?
Yeah. So I'm back. So I was somehow interested, but I really didn't have no any theory. Of course, I read the books, but mostly Buddhistic books.
Yeah.
And I just if you send me your profile, because you have a lot of information about you online. So I was like, oh, what's the guy? What's this guy? And when I met you, it was much more worse because I felt your strength, and I just felt that yes, this is the person who can hurt me somehow, but not in the physical way, on a bad way. I just feel you very strong person, like mentally.
Mm.
So I was worried about, because I know that if you wish to do something, it happened, and I didn't know how to protect myself. And later on, I realized that partially I can do it, and partially you're a very nice man, so I don't need to be worried about.
Well, I can teach you some protection if we haven't already done that. But I probably haven't actually.
You
But
tried, but you know me, I'm always heart open.
yeah. Well, I think it's been really interesting so far, and I'm sure we've got lots to discover. Um, if you've got the time, let's go.
Yes, I'm sure we go. I can't stop. I just need it to for my life. It's part of my life. And
Yeah, I'm
I
obsessed as
think that,
well.
yeah, everybody, until you find a girlfriend who will say, "Oh no, Gary, don't go with Eva.
It's not going to happen.
We can
That
go
can't
now."
happen. That can't happen. Sorry, I've got to carry on doing this stuff, and
Yeah.
I
So
think the power is the two of us are doing it together, and that, as I say, I think that the idea of the magical couple, or in magic, you sometimes talk about the priest and priestess, or the bringing together of the two male and female energies, sort of magnifies everything, and so and because there seems to be a natural. I mean, I don't have to hide or pretend to be someone different with you. I'm just me, and warts and all, right? So you know who I am, and being able to be authentic and involved in a pursuit that's spiritual in nature, I think you have to be authentic, otherwise it can't really happen, right? If you see what I'm saying.
exactly, completely agree with you.
So
And
yeah,
I believe that everybody can do it. And if more people do it, what we are doing right now, even their own way, because I believe that everybody should find own way, then the world will be better place for living. Because if you live like this and you think positively and you connected to the positive energies and your heart is open, then only nice thing can happen.
yeah, and as I think we've discussed so many times, that today people have lost their connection with the connection with nature, the right connection with nature. Environmentalism these days isn't anything about connecting with nature, it seems to me, and people have forgotten how to connect with nature, or many people have forgotten. And I think it's really important that people take some time out and go out into the countryside and connect with the power of nature and the magic behind it,
Mm.
for sure. All right,
Yeah.
good. Well, thanks for joining me.